Welcome back in from the break. This is the hot spot for all things conversation when it comes to Alabama Crimson Tide football. You are locked and loaded on In My Own Words, the podcast Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Stephen M. Smith gave you a little bit of a teaser before we went to our first break after talking about top 5 corners in Alabama history under Nick Saban. The teaser was getting into Nick Saban's thoughts on the quarterback race during his time a few weeks ago at a golf charity event in Vestavia Hills in the Birmingham area. Also got some audio from former Alabama tight end O.J. Howard, who is about to enter his second season with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on this same topic. For a lot of you Alabama fans out there, I know you are tired of hearing about quarterback conversation. Every time you turn on the radio, every time you're watching TV, every time you tune in to one of these talk shows, it's quarterback battle. What's Jalen gonna do? What's Tua gonna do? Quarterback. And you're like, can we stop it already? It's getting boring. It's getting redundant. I mean, can we have one talk show where I turn on the TV and you're talking about the offensive line? I want to see what Jonah Williams is going to do, what Ross Pierce-Baker's going to do, what Jedrick Will's going to do. I'm an Alex Leatherwood fan. I mean, can we get something about the offensive line? Can we stop with quarterbacks already? Can I turn on the TV? Can somebody say something about our defensive backfield? What's Deontay Thompson, Daniel Wright, Shaheem Carter, Trayvon Diggs, Savion Smith? What are those guys doing? What is our special teams doing? What is Jeff Banks up to? What's our running back core doing? Can someone talk about our defensive line for a minute and what Craig Kuligowski is up to? I mean, I'm just sick and tired of going on the TV and hearing quarterback. Can we please bring something else to the forefront? I mean, my goodness, I get it. It's the biggest topic right now, but can I have one day when I turn on the clicker and there's something other than quarterback being a part of the conversation? I get it, Bama fans. I get it. I hear you loud and clear. But for you, the fans, you that crave this information, you that lust to watch this team on Saturdays in the fall, and me being a respective, distinguished member of the media, it's kind of my job to stick my neck out there for you guys to try to get the best information when it comes to Crimson Tide football. And once again, to the dismay of some of you, quarterback thing rises up again. Nick Saban at his charity golf event, Vestavia Hills, part of the Birmingham area, a few weeks back, was brought the quarterback question. Nick Saban, what are you thinking? Nick Saban, who's standing out? Nick Saban between Tua and Jalen, give us something. Y'all know Nick Saban ain't finna give y'all nothing. I mean, as the media, we should know by now Nick Saban ain't finna give us nothing. He gonna play this thing up throughout August camp, probably into the first couple of weeks of the season. We probably won't know who's taking the reins until maybe the Ole Miss game, but I digress from that statement. Nick Saban answered the question as he always does. It's about winning the team. Who wins the team? These guys need to be focused on winning the team. These guys need to be, bent on winning the respect, winning the ear of their peers in the locker room. And for some reason, to me, and this is just me talking here, I can be wrong. I'm open to being wrong. I've been wrong a lot of times in my life. But to me here, I look at this statement of winning the team uttered out by Nick Saban. This season not having as much weight, not having as much value as it did in recent years. I'm not saying the statement is completely out the subject. It's completely bogus. I'm just saying this year, it doesn't have that weight. It doesn't carry that sense of oomph that it usually carries. And the reason why I'm saying that is when you talk about winning the team, right? Let's go back to 2011 for just a moment. When you had A.J. McCarron and Phillip Simms, right? Winning the team serves a purpose here because neither of those two guys emerged. None of those two guys were proven. None of those two guys had stepped up. So you're awaiting that moment where the light bulb comes on and you have the turn it on moment. You have that kind of come to Jesus moment where one of those two guys takes the reins and says, enough is enough. This is my team. I'm winning it, and this is how I'm going to do it, right? 2011. Same thing in 2014 when you had Blake Sims, Jacob Coker, winning the team moment. At what moment do you step up? Does the light bulb come on? You have the ear of the locker room. You have the pulse of the program. You have the respect of the coaches. When are you going to turn it on? Same thing for 2015 when it was Coker, Barnett, Bateman, Cornwell. Same thing in 2016 when it was Jalen Hurts, Bateman, Barnett, Cornwell. Who's got the ear of the team? Who's going to turn it on? This year, it's not that because Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa both have the ear of the team. Both have the ear of the locker room. Both have done things thus far in their careers that have won the team. Jalen Hurts, not the best passer in the world. We get that. But he has done things in his past that have won the team. I don't care how many times you mention defense carried Alabama, defense. Defense was great. But in 2016, you still needed Jalen Hurts to make some plays because he was your best option at the time at quarterback due to Blake Barnett left, Cooper Bateman, David Cornwell, foul transfer waivers. So you needed Jalen Hurts. And against Ole Miss, started the comeback that got you the 48-43 win. LSU scored the lone touchdown of the game with his legs. Clemson left the field twice. Both times he left the field, Alabama had the lead. Unfortunately, you were going up against a transcendent quarterback in Deshaun Watson of Clemson. And then this past year, played pretty well, played very well at the start of the year. Fear gripped him middle of the way. I don't know why the fear gripped him, but middle of the way, fear gripped him. Had a pretty good game against LSU. By far his best game against Mississippi State. Best passing game where he hooked up with Devonta Smith for the game-winning touchdown at the end. But in his past, Jalen Hurts has done things to win the team. This past year, Tua Tagovailoa did things to win the team. Touchdown throw against Vanderbilt, hooking up with Devonta Smith. Touchdown throw against Tennessee to Henry Ruggs and Stride, coming off him throwing a pick six in that game. And then the national championship game, we all know what happened. 14 of 24 passing, 166 yards, 3 touchdowns, including the game winner to Devonta Smith of 41 yards. Both guys have done things that have won the team. Both guys have the ear in the locker room. So this whole winning the team thing doesn't work here because both guys have done things to win the team. In my perspective, it's who, from the quarterback standpoint, trusts the team. They've already won the team, but who, from a quarterback standpoint, really trusts the team. One of the best things about talking with former Alabama players and current guys, the current guys that Nick Saban allows you to talk to, is that with Nick Saban, and no offense at all to Coach Saban, but with Nick Saban, he doesn't give you that raw emotion, you know? As a journalist, you're taught, and I was taught to get that raw emotion from a coach. Get that raw feeling. Get that intense, that quote that's real. And you can tell that it's real. It's not coach speak. It's not, all the way rehearsed. It's just real. And journalists love that, but fans love that as well. And with Nick Saban, he's always just so prepared. And it's good to be prepared. It's good. But sometimes in that preparation, a little bit of that coach speak slips in there, and the quotes come off kind of vague. And you can't really create something with a vague quote. But when you interview a current player or a former player, that's when the real, raw emotion comes out, and you're like, whoa, yeah, I can use this. Got a chance to speak with a good friend of mine, my boy, O.J. Howard, former Alabama tight end, played for the Crimson Tide from 2013 to 2016, entering his second year this fall with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the National Football League. O.J. Howard was in his hometown of Prattville, Alabama over the weekend. His prep school, Autauga Academy, throwing his youth camp. Got a chance to go down there and see him. And I brought up the quarterback conversation. I want you to check out the audio, the sound I got from O.J. Howard. I want you to listen to the couple of sentences he said that made me perk up. This is O.J. Howard from his youth camp. Check this out.
You still got to feel for him.
You know, I find it interesting. Saban always talked about, even when you were there, the quarterback winning the team.
Yeah.
What does that actually mean?
It means a lot, man. And also, means just that the guy that's, he's a vocal leader. He would do whatever it takes to succeed. He's not afraid to mess up. He's not out there playing timid. He's throwing the ball down the field. He's not always checking it down. He's going to try to win the game. He's not being a game manager, but trying to win the game. And also a guy who's not trying to do too much.
Okay. At what point did you see that type of trait from Jake Coker and Blake Sims? You played with both of them. At what point in the season, 2014 or 15, did you see that from those two guys?
Yeah, I think Blake won over the team when we went into camp, man. And, I think, Blake had a scrimmage where he threw a couple of picks. They pulled him out, but he came back in and bounced back. He didn't let it get him down. He continued to play hard, and just stuff like that shows you that, all right, man, this guy got a chance, man. He's not really, he don't get rattled really easy or not. So I think the team won him over then.
Well, how did you see this year's quarterback situation playing out?
Man, I think it's going to be like a dual quarterback type of thing. I think they're going to split a little bit of time, certain packages for each quarterback. And then go with the hot hand at the end of the game. I think that's at least for the first couple games. But I think you have to go with a true starter, just for the field of the receivers. I think it's hard for you to keep interchanging quarterbacks because nobody can get adjusted to the game.
Two things that O.J. Howard said that caught my attention there. One of the two things, the quarterback that wins this job cannot play timid. You got to own this team. You got to grab this team. You got to put this team on your back. You can't play timid. You got to take some shots. You can't always check the ball down. You got to chunk that ball downfield and trust the guys around you. And the number two thing he said to me, and when O.J. Howard said this, I really got excited. Because I've been saying this the past couple of months, but it's like when you get a former player to give you some confirmation of what you've said, that's how you know, oh, I'm dripping with some sauce. Because you got a former player to give you some confirmation. O.J. Howard said, you cannot be afraid to make a mistake when you're the quarterback of Alabama. Can't be afraid to make a mistake. Got to go out there and trust your instincts. Trust your overall instincts, overall ability as a quarterback. He brought up the race from the 2014 season and how Blake Sims was able to win the job. O.J. talked about, Blake went out there in one of the scrimmages in fall camp in 2014, threw a couple of interceptions. The coaching staff pulled him out of there. He didn't let that get him down. Wasn't afraid to make a mistake. Went right back in there, bounced back, had a heck of a final scrimmage prior to the opener against West Virginia. And after that second scrimmage, the team knew Blake's got our ear. We want Blake. This is our guy. Not afraid to make a mistake, not playing timid. Two big statements there from O.J. Howard. When I look at this Alabama quarterback race for next season. In the same way, Jesus Christ put all 10 commandments on 2. All 10 commandments were important. Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill, all of that. We know all this. I'm not trying to give you a vacation Bible school lesson here. We all know the 10 commandments. But of all 10, Jesus hung all 10 on 2. Love the Lord your God, all your mind, soul, strength, body. Love your neighbor as yourself. Because if you love the Lord your God with all your soul, mind, spirit, body, all your heart, love your neighbor as yourself, you're not going to do anything to offend the other 8 commandments there. So, in the same way, Jesus hung all 10 on 2. And I know we like to talk about accuracy, precision, decision-making, pocket awareness, athleticism, timing. We like to look at all of the metrics, mechanics when it comes down to quarterbacks. And metrics are great, but I'm going to hang the entire quarterback battle on 2 things. Number 1, who can trust themselves entirely in their abilities as a quarterback? Who's trusting their athleticism? Who's trusting their decision-making? Who's trusting their accuracy? Who's trusting their precision? Who's trusting their timing? Who is allowing themselves to be free in every entity and being a quarterback? That's number 1. And then number 2, who can trust everybody on the team? It's not who has the ear of the team. They both got that. But between Jalen Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa, which one of these 2 can trust everybody on the team? I'll give you an example. Let's say on 3rd down, Henry Ruggs is Alabama's go-to receiver. Whether it's 3rd and 2, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 28, Henry Ruggs is the go-to receiver. But let's say on a certain play, Henry Ruggs is covered. And it's 3rd and 7, you're trying to go to Henry Ruggs on a 10-yard post route to the inside, he's covered. But you've got Xavier Marks coming on a 7-yard little dig route to the middle of the field. Little 7-yard dig route. You want Henry Ruggs. The play is supposed to go for Henry Ruggs. You're craving to throw that ball to Henry Ruggs, but it's Xavier Marks who's open on that dig route. Can you trust Xavier Marks to make that play? Let go of that football the moment Xavier Marks breaks and make that play. That's the number 2 thing. Who can trust everybody on the team? Basing the quarterback battle on those 2 things. When I look at Jalen Hurts, there are still players on this team that have hope in him, that have faith in him, that still believe he can be the guy that doesn't just get you to a national championship game, but that can win you a national championship game. There's still hope in Jalen. Even though you look at the struggles passing the football, and this is the biggest reason why Dan Enos was brought in to be a strict quarterback coach. I just remember 2015, everybody had Arkansas quarterback Brandon Allen written off for dead. Dan Enos comes in there, and in his first year, Brandon Allen's 3rd year, a major change hit the scene. Brandon Allen, better quarterback completion percentage, 65.9%. More passing yards, 3,430. Better touchdown to interception ratio than what he had the previous 2 years. Enos is coming in here. Got a chance to talk with his brother, Gary Enos, last week. One of the things Dan is going to work on, not just the confidence of Jalen, but the footwork, the passing ability, the mechanics, being that leader in the huddle. Jalen Hurts, he's got the ear in the locker room, but the biggest thing for him, can he release himself from that fear of making a mistake? If he can release himself from that fear, this quarterback race will be closer than what a lot of people think. He's got to release himself from that fear. In the case of Tua Tagovailoa, for him, can he make the second half against Georgia a perennial thing? Because what Tua has done for Bama fans, Tua has given you guys a movie trailer. You know how that is when the movie trailer is so dope, when it's so good, when you're taking the husband, the wife, the girlfriend, the boyfriend, the kids, your friends, you go to the movie, you stack up on drinks, popcorn, soda, candy, chips, you go watch the movie. If the movie holds up, if the movie is as good as the trailer or even better than the trailer, then the trailer serves a purpose. If the movie does not hold up to the trailer, then there's no use for that trailer. What Tua Tagovailoa has provided is the trailer of I am the best quarterback Nick Saban's ever signed, landed, committed, has had to play. I'm going to be the first Alabama quarterback to not just excel in college, but my game is going to transcend over to the National Football League. I can be the first Alabama quarterback to win a Heisman Trophy. This is the trailer that Tua Tagovailoa has put out there. The thing for him, can he make the second half of football against Georgia, national championship game, and the limited moments he was out there on the field, can he make that a perennial thing? If he can make that a perennial thing, I'm all for it. That's what we're looking at here. Biggest thing with Jalen, releasing himself from that fear, not playing timid. Got to be able to go out there, trust everybody around you. Biggest thing with Tua, can he make what he did in the second half a perennial thing? O.J. Howard mentioned Alabama needing a big-time quarterback. The guy that wins the team cannot be just a game manager. Got to be able to put that team on your back, make some big-time throws on that field. Can't do too much, but you got to make some big-time throws on that field. In my opinion, Nick Saban's got to win the team. Not as much weight this year that it holds versus previous years because both guys have the ear of the locker room. But who can sustain it? Who can sustain the trust? Who can sustain the leadership? Who can trust themselves and all abilities as a quarterback? Who can trust everybody on the team? That's the biggest thing when it comes down to Jalen Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa, this quarterback race when it comes to summer workouts, which both guys doing well so far, according to guys I've talked to. But when it comes to fall camp, this will be interesting. Taking our final break here on In My Own Words. When we get back, we sit down with former Alabama defensive lineman and current defensive coordinator at Hewitt-Trussville High School, Rudy Griffin. Coach Griffin building him a pipeline from Hewitt-Trussville to the University of Alabama. He's got a number of guys committed to the Crimson Tide for the 2019 class. Folks, you don't want to miss this. We sit down with the man, Rudy Griffin, other side of the break. It's In My Own Words. We'll be right back. It's your boy, Stephen M. Smith, host of In My Own Words, the podcast. If you are a fan of this show, then I encourage you to subscribe to the Touchdown Alabama Magazine YouTube channel. Also follow the brand on Facebook, Twitter, and other forms of social media as we continue to bring you the best in Alabama football and Crimson Tide athletics.